Good evening, folks. If you are watching after the fact, then please do make sure to, please feel free even to skip ahead to qualifying as we get the rest of the drivers into the lobby and the stream all set up. I should be joined by Ghost shortly. He's just not joined the party yet, but we will be with you in just a moment. That's better. I was doing something. Yes, I was doing this. There we go. Hello, Rick. Hope you two to be the same as 2-1. I can watch instead of having to defend against soft runners winning on. Yeah, that was quite the spectacle you put on for us in Tier 1, Rick, and I was glad I was there to see it. But yes, you'll be hoping that you can sit and relax while watching rather than having to defend for soft runners. Hello, Ghost.
Hello.
Oh gosh. How you feeling?
Funnily enough, worse than yesterday.
Ooh.
But that's code for you, isn't it?
Fair. Oh gosh.
Crows is joining during quali, so let's go.
Cool. Rick hopes you get better soon, as do I. It's nice to have you either way. Yes, COVID does suck. Hello, Life Bout. I would not want to have COVID again. That was rough.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get it too bad, thankfully, but I had the worst headache on the first day. Like, I was in
Yeah.
bed all day.
Exactly the same for me.
Yeah. And then I was just kind of rough for the next few days. I've got the beginnings of a cold at the moment, but we move on. Thankfully, I can still speak, so that's that going on. Let's get my comm script on that I worked on while I was on my break today. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2 for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm SUMO, your commentator this evening. Back again with Tier 2. Joining me, as always, is Ghost, my amazing co-commentator. Apart from your having COVID, Ghost, how are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. Just, I've been missing tier 2.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're back. And we've got a decent 13 grid today, which is nice to see, even after our Romanian friend left earlier today.
Oh, don't get me started. Really was not a fan of the Red Bull livery. But anyway, we head to the Far East for a trip to a circuit that is a favourite among fans and drivers. The Suzuka International Racing Course is a 5.807 kilometre circuit with 18 corners, 9 to the left and 9 to the right. I don't know if it's the only track to have an even split on corners. That'll have to be something looked up. But anyway, this track is one of the most technical circuits on the calendar, with consistency being extremely prevalent. I love this circuit, Ghost. What are your thoughts?
I do like it, especially this year. Um, this year's game, it's just so fun to drive for me. It's especially the S's last year, F1 2021. You got on one curb, and that was it. But this year, you can. It makes more sense to me, anyways. But I know some people have struggled with it more this year than they did before, which doesn't make sense to me. But you know, it's all about how people can adapt to those kinds of things, and how well they think they're going to be able to do on this track, because confidence is key as well.
Yes, it certainly is. And those on controller might struggle a little bit more than those on a wheel, but I feel like it's a bit more friendly to the controller players this year, especially. Anyway, we look to the championship now, and Lawrence and Little Mannyman head to Japan tied on 51 points, with Mr. J-Man just 1 point behind. A close fight for the places at the top in the Drivers' Championship, and it's a bit closer as well going down. It's the best of the rest. We've got Tier on 33 with Pommy Femi and JB Steve tied on 32 points. So a big fight among the top 7 drivers of this championship. Moving over to the constructors, Red Bull have a dominant lead on 101 points, with Alpine sat 57 points. On 57 points, I should say, in a close fight with the Mercedes outfit, who are on 51. 58 points for the Williams team, sees Ferrari trailing them by 2 points on 46 points, as the pair fight out for P4, and the top 5 fight, at least for the top 4, at least for positions 2 to 5, is looking very close. But there's one question looming on everybody, is can Red Bull be caught? Thoughts, Ghost?
Well, with the new Mercedes pairing of LB and Lawrence, quite possibly. And I'm sure Alpine will get back to form soon. Tommy Alex hasn't had the best start to the season, neither has Muhiti. So if they can find their form again from last season, where they were dominant, then they should be able to challenge. And I think Red Bull have been undeniably lucky so far without any DNFs. So yeah, it's still all to play for. There's a long way to go.
Yeah, there certainly is. We watch along with Tier as he begins his first hot lap of the night. He's on the medium tyres, interestingly. I keep seeing this among leagues at the moment, Ghost, and I'm not sure why people continue to start out on the medium tyres. Maybe just getting those banker laps in, but that looked very tidy from Tier coming through those first couple of corners as he rounds off Dunlop and in towards the Degners.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me either, mate. I don't know why people are doing it, but they are. And like you said, it's probably just to get a feel for the track, get yourself a lap on the board that you can have a green Delta on later, but it just feels like a waste of time to me.
Yeah, and perhaps he's hoping to save a set of softs as well. Over to the chat. He was a bit of a clown, really, as well. I mean, I don't know why he put that message in the chat either, but we'll skip over that. Pole prediction from Lifebout is a 1 minute 30.5. It could be lower, and Mercedes is liking the looks of the Mercedes team as well. Yes, it could be a strong pairing, and they're going to need to be to catch up to Red Bull.
Yeah, they certainly are. It's not going to be easy by any means, but I think, well, LB's abandoned that lap, so he won't be beating it today.
31.9 from Tier as he sets the pace. Here comes Lawrence, our, well, joint championship leader, let's say. But he currently is at the top of the table. It's a 31.0 from the man in the Mercedes. Next up, I think it's an Alpine about to cross the line. It's Muhiti. It's a 31.5. Puts in P2. and LB has set a time, but he abandoned that last lap. Little Manny Man goes into P5 with Daphne Hillis going with a 1:30.5. So that's your pole. That's Lifebout's pole time. So according to Lifebout, that's not going to be beaten tonight, but it might be a lower 30, well, 0.5 at least.
There you go.
There it is.
Lower 0.5. Femi Frostmaster getting up there. I do think it will be lowered under 1:30. But I don't think much more. Lifebout's pole time from Tier 1 was a 28, I think 28.8, might have been a 28.6, I can't remember. But regardless, I don't think they'll get near that today, but 29 definitely on the cards.
The Hillers to set a 29.6 for pole. That or the 30.5. I think you've missed up. I think you might have messed up with that 30.5. There's definitely some more time on the track. JBS Steve goes into P5 of a 39.9, close to the time tier set on those medium tyres. But yeah, Tier 2 looking quick out here for the time being. Krauser has started his lap. Fido Man is on the lap as well. Our defending champion, Pommy Alex in the Alpine, having to get past the traffic of the Mercedes as he comes into the final chicane. I remember the name of that corner, but well, I don't remember it, but it has a name apparently. It's Casio something, I think.
Yeah, Casio Square, I think.
Casio Square, yeah, I think that's what it is. I was talking about this on the Tier 1 stream a couple days ago, but Pommy Alex, a decent time of 30.4 as he puts himself into P4.
Yeah, Crows is going to be the last one on track to set a lap, although I don't... Is LB going around again? Or is he going in the pits? Yeah, he's going around again by the looks of it, so... I have to wait and see on him, but...
Sox is not having a nice time here at Dunlop. He's trying to get the car back on the circuit. Finally, the Haas gets going. But not the best start to his qualifying session. Fido Man is invalidated, so Krauser will be the next car to set a lap, making his way through 130R and down towards Casio Square for that final chicane along the track. Let's see where the Ferrari can place himself. Has he got Charles Leclerc's helmet on?
He does.
He does.
5 thousandths behind his teammate. Apparently we got the shape wrong as well, so no, it's Casio Triangle.
Triangle. There we go. I knew it was Casio something. I should have looked back onto the track map from the other day, but there you go. I knew it had a name. I've always just called it the bus stop. To be fair, the same as the one at a Spa, but.
LB's helmet rocking the colours of the Estonian flag. I don't think he's related to Estonia. I think just a coincidence that he's not aware of. But regardless, it is a cool colour combination. Down towards Casio Triangle, goes a bit deep there at the right-hander, and now down towards the line. This is going to be a 29, I think. No, it's well off, 30.9, but still puts in P3.
Yeah, solid lap at the moment. There's little Manny Man then. I think it was his first podium last week out, making his way out of the pits. He's found himself joint first in the Drivers' Championship. He'll be hoping he can continue that form, but I'm sure his teammate might have something to say about that as well. Mr. J-Man, who sits just a point behind the two tied leaders of this Drivers' Championship, which is looking very close.
Mr. J-Man being down in P7 is surprising. I'm sure he's got more time in the tank, although as like you say, it's more difficult for controller players.
Yes.
And if he is on controller, he's going to have a tough time, as Tito sets a time that's put him just behind his teammate. And wow, look at all those teammate combos: 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 8 and 9, and 10 and 11.
Yeah, that's very good. I've seen a bit of teamwork as well going on between a few of the teams. I mean, Krauser is a very good teammate. Loves to give him the toe to his fellow driver, and I've seen Lawrence and LB working together a little bit as well.
Yes, and LB, despite all the great teamwork between him and Krauser in previous seasons, they have split up for this season, as you can see. So Krauser now with JBS Steve, and neither of the Ferraris have had a good start to the season at all. So we'll have to see if they can pick it up as the season progresses. We're nearly halfway through already.
He certainly are. I'm trying to find someone on a lap. I think Socks might be on a lap. He's just made his way through the spoon curve. He's heading all the way down this back straight. Did he spin? Oh, yes, he's on a slower lap. So poor Socks. Going to have to come back in, I think. So it'll be Lawrence then. He'll be the next to set a lap as we are in the middle of this qualifying session. Just 8 minutes and 10 seconds left to go. And we'll watch the Silver Arrow make its way down towards 130R.
Femi Fosmas has given up on that lap, I think. Just gone a bit too deep at the hairpin and lost too much time. Daphne Hillis also on a lap. So the two front row occupants on laps. Lawrence back in the pits, he's not happy.
No, not happy with that lap in particular. Is that Tier making his way around? Tier's making his way into the pits, in fact. So it's Pommy Alex, I reckon he's going to start a lap. He's on an out lap, it's the Alpine, as is his teammate, it seems, as well. So Alpine on out laps. I think Femi backed off, as you said. So I think it's the Red Bulls that we're watching now. It'd be Mr. J-Man. Is he on a lap? No, he's on an out lap. Lots of drivers on out laps. I think Manny Man will be the next driver to cross the line then, as he's making his way now down towards 130R. Everyone bottled their second one by the looks of it. Yeah, I think they did. This track can catch you out if you're not careful. Manny Man's down on his time as well, so yeah, he's going to be on a slow lap. How about Daphne Hillis? Daphne Hillis is down on his previous, but he's purple to the middle sector, 4/10 up. This could be a shot for provisional pole position here for the Haas, making his way through the Casio triangle now and round that final corner. What time is the Haas going to set? It looks like the first 29s, perhaps not quite. It's a 30.2.
More like it. He can go faster though, I'm pretty sure. Just have a look at the time he set in Tier 1. One of his results, Japan. Only problem with these rendered images, they take ages to load. There we go. Daphne Hillis did a 1 minute 30.2, it looks like. In Tier 1 as well, so maybe there isn't that much more left in the Haas.
Perhaps not. Here comes Pommy Alex. He was purple to the middle sector, about 2/10 up as he crosses the line now. It's a 31.2, not enough to see him improve past P5, however. Muhiti, his teammate, is coming into the pits. How about Femi? He's making his way through. He's 2/10 up on his previous lap, so could he get himself ahead? Not quite. It's close, though.
I think his ERS cost him there. He didn't have enough left after the first flying lap he did, and unfortunately that has cost him pole position, I believe, about 1.5 tenths. It probably cost him about that much.
Yeah, certainly so. Lawrence says the racing line is tough in that last chicane. He took out the 100-metre board as well. That's not going to help you out as little Manny Man crosses the line. Improves up to P7 just ahead of his teammate. Of course you're worthy of the GOAT, Lawrence, of course.
Oh, and Lil Manny Man going P7 is not only an impressive lap from him, but it also completes the teammate loop. Apart from, and if you loop around between 13th and 1st as well, then you get past as well. That's great.
What a coincidence. And here comes JBS Steve. Can he improve on his time? He can. It puts him up into P6. He's ruined the whole order. Ruined everything. How dare you? Go back down. Someone disqualify that time. How about Femi? Let's see what Femi's up to in the Alfa Romeo. Ah, no, he's on an end lap.
Yeah, FIA notification. Time deleted for JBS Steve to preserve the leaderboard looking really nice.
Certainly. Creeping ever closer to the dying moments of this session. Car number 7 of Mr. J-Man making his way around. Another of the podium sitters from last week's race around Saudi Arabia. Coming down to that Sector 2 line. Is he on a lap? We'll see as he crosses it. He is. He's 3/10 up, so he could put him ahead of his teammate. He'll be looking to get into the top 5 if he can. Fido Man has retired from the session. Looks like he's crashed at the exit of the Spoon Curve. That's not going to help the Williams' campaign. He missed out last week and he'll be gutted about that. Into the pits comes Mr. J-Man.
Well, Tito is right across the track there. Don't know if he'll despawn before JB gets there. No, look, there he is on the right-hand side. So that car should despawn pretty soon, but with if we had ghosting off, that must be quite scary to come around Spoon and see that car there.
Wow, good time from Tier 31.4, puts him up into P6.
Yeah, much more like it from Tier there. JB into the pits as well. A lot of people not happy with these laps they're doing. Tier, who's just finished his lap. I think everyone's just heading in the pits now, so we've got a little break until the last laps of the session.
Okay, it's kind of, I was just looking at this year's, well, I mean last year's Alfa Romeo, I suppose. We've had this year's Alfa Romeo revealed today, and it's the composition of the colours is similar, but I don't like the black.
Yeah, it looks like the Ferrari of last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I just think they should have been more black on the car than red. I think. Like, I was thinking about it while I was on my break today, and I think it should have. If they were gonna, they should have gone with the concept that Renault went with a few years ago with that yellow and black. That would have looked really cool. I think with the red and with the sort of the metallic red and this sort of matte or carbon black. I think that would have looked really cool.
Muhitti's out of the session, by the way, Sumo. He's crashed at the S's. It's a disaster for the Turkish driver, unfortunately, in the Alpine. He's not going to finish or start any higher than P8. But yeah, I think a lot of cars have gone with more black, like Haas have put black on their livery. Williams, obviously, basically copy and pasted. Alfa Romeo now have put black all over their car. I think it's because they intend to strip the paint off and just run carbon, like Williams did last year, and they're just giving themselves a livery design that they can get away with doing it. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more unexpected black segments of car liveries as they more get revealed.
I don't know. I don't think Merck are going to go back to the black. I think they might stay silver from now on. I mean, I'll be interested to see if anyone complains about Merck or Ferrari like they did Red Bull, because their liveries will be practically the same. I mean, maybe the Ferrari might be a bit different, but the Mercedes will certainly look very similar to what it has done in previous years.
Femi's going to be gutted. He was 3.5 tenths up in Sector 1, but he's just invalidated at Degner 1.
So easily done.
No improvement, but Darth is improving. He's 2.5 tenths up. He could beat what he did on Friday. Here he comes to the line. I think this is going to be pole 30.0, not quite into the 29s, but I don't think anyone's going to beat that.
No, let's see. Krauser coming across the line now. It's 31.9. I think he'll have time. He's going again, actually, so we'll wait and see what he does. JBS Steve making his way around. Femi might just make it to the line. I don't know what the time is. There's a yellow flag that keeps popping up. Oh, he's not going to make it. He'll be so gutted with that. JBS Steve, I think he's the last one to cross. So we are finishing now. Let's find a driver who is going to cross the line first. I think it is Sox, but he's on an in-lap, so it'll be the Ferrari of Lawrence. He'll be aiming for that pole position. He's needs to find about a second on this lap, making his way through the hairpin now. He's struggling with no line around this circuit, and I'm sure that's difficult around here.
Yeah, but say 3.5 tenths up through Sector 1. We'll have to see how it is. Of Spoon, the sector line comes up in the middle of this straight. I always think Sector 3 is far too short in this track. It doesn't really give you any information, but regardless, up to the line he comes, and 5.5 tenths. This could see him into the front row if he nails this last chicane.
Yeah, well, he took out the braking board, so he might struggle getting through, but that looked pretty tidy to me. I don't know about you, Gross, but he's coming around that final couple of corners now. It opens up the DRS. It's looking decent. It's a 30.4. He's just shy of the front row, but he joins his teammate on row 2. I think Krauser's next to cross the line. Let's see where the Ferrari can place himself. Up into P6 for Krauser in the Ferrari. Daphne Hillis, he's into the pit lane, so we watch as JBS Steve Steve. Can he get closer to his teammate in that Scarlet car? Can he get into the 1 minute 30s? He can. It's a 30.9. Disrupts the two Mercedes on the second row, and that is everyone for qualifying. And it is Darth Nihilus in the Haas on pole position.
JB is going to be delighted with that. He has not been qualifying well at all this season so far, and to get himself on the second row, he's going to be very, very happy. So hopefully he can convert it into a race finish.
Yeah, there's some very close margins in there as well, especially between LB and JB there, as only a few hundredths separate the pair. Yes, unlucky Fido, but there's qualifying's not what matters. It's where you finish in the race and finishing the race itself. And I'm sure you'll have a decent race. But we'll run you through the grid as Darth Nihilius takes pole position here in Japan, with Femi Thrustmaster in the Alfa Romeo joining him on the front row. Lawrence and JBS Steve sit in row 2, with LB Racing being separated from his teammate by a few hundredths of a second to round off the top 5. Pommy Alex sits in P6, with Krauser P7, Tieran Muhiti P8 and 9, and Little Manny Man rounding off the top 10. A poor qualifying from Red Bull as J-Man sits P11, with Fido Man P12 and Sox rounding off the grid.
Yeah, Mr. J-Man, the biggest shock of quali, all the way down in P11, wasn't able to set a time he was happy with, I don't think. So, yeah, tricky one for him. He's got a big race ahead of him, as does his teammate, if they want to continue their fight for the driver's title.
Yes, certainly. So they've got to try and get as close to Lawrence as they can during this race, and they'll need to make their way through the field from P10 and 11.
Well, as we wait for everyone to select their strategies, I think medium to hard or hard to medium is going to be the main thing today. It depends which way around you go. If you go on the hards first, there is risk to it, especially the first few laps. You're going to be slow. You're going to be finding it hard to control your car, and much more likely that you're going to spin. But you have the mediums later on, and you can be so much faster in the second stint. So interested to see what drivers go with.
Yeah, certainly. So tier 1, especially, I think the more aggressive strategy worked out for a lot of drivers. Although we watched Rick defend four soft runners on 9-lap old hard tyres. So miracles can happen in motorsport as we get underway for the formation lap. There's 9 people watching thus far, and only 3 likes on the stream. Make sure you pop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Hello, Zach Sweeney. It's nice to have you in the chat as always. As we make our way down, I just realised as well I wasn't recording qualifying, so I might not be able to put that on the APPF1 community channel, which is annoying. But you know, in my defence, I literally rushed home from work, turned on my PlayStation, got everything ready to stream, and started streaming. I haven't even had a chance to have dinner or get changed or anything.
Oh gosh.
The commitment is where it's at.
Yeah, exactly. You can't say you're not committed.
Exactly. The whole grid in a Haas bordered sandwich. It seems as Sox lines up in P13 with his teammate at the front. Let's have a look then at the tyre strategy, and it looks like a fairly even split with the lean towards the medium tyres as the top 2 go for the hards, with Lawrence and JB on the mediums, with LB on the hard tyres, and the next 3 drivers on the medium tyre. Muhiti on the hards, Manny Man on the mediums, J-Man and Fido on the hard tyres, and J-Man's had a bit of a moment at the hairpin there, with Sox starting on the mediums.
That Red Bull does look good in the sunlight, I've got to say. Coming out of that hairpin, it looks great with that light, but Mr. J-Man will have gotten a bit too much of that view there. He spun.
You can quickly clip it, press share, then the top video. The clip option thing. I don't know what that means. I have no idea, Rick.
Oh, Mr. J-Man and Tito must have touched.
Oh
They've
dear.
both been sent to back to the grid, and they'll have cold tyres for the start, and both on hard tyres as well. That's not ideal for them.
No, not ideal at all. What are you saying, Lifeback? You don't like when I turn up for a commentary in Tier 1? You best share on your controller then the top option to save the video clip. Oh. I mean, will it save what I've just streamed? I really don't know. I'm sorry to blue screen everybody, but there we go. I don't know. I'll check that out later as we line up on the grid. Finally, a decent shot. Hopefully, no timing errors for myself. We've had a lot recently, but here we go. It's 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix here in APPF1 Tier 2. And again, an error at the start. Come on, we're underway once more. And a poor start from Femi Fussmaster as Lawrence gets a great start in that Mercedes as they launch off. He's going to challenge Daphne Hillius into turn 1. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside, pushed off the track a little bit. They're still going to go side by side as they go through, but it's the Haas that gets the better run out of the corner and starts to lead the drivers through the S section now as Daphne Hillius leads the way. Lawrence has spun and he's into the wall and loses that front ring. He's going to drop all the way back. The Red Bulls will be loving that as they see him in the grass there, and the two Ferraris having a bit of a battle between themselves as well as Tier looks for a way through as they climb the hill up. Dunlop makes evasive action as they make their way up to the top of the hill in towards the Deckler section now.
Recovery drive on the way for Lawrence. That is shocking. Did he just spin on his own, Sumo?
I think so. I think he had a moment of oversteer and he just went, that's Pommy Alex, where does that Australian come from? He's all the way up in P2.
His medium tyres working to full effect for the Australian, and what a start for him. The two Red Bulls swapping Mr. J-Man with a poor lap 1 again. Back down to P10, but round the outside again at Spoon as the two Ferraris swapping positions as well, and Tier involved, getting between them past JB. Great stuff from the Williams.
So much action going on the track at the minute. It looks like LB's trying to set up a move on Femi Frostmaster in the Alfa Romeo. He's going to try and go defensive. It's the Alfa. Squeezes into that little gap on the inside, but no way through for the Mercedes at this time. He's going to have to try again as they go through. I'll remove that little menu there just for now. I think all the timing is correct on here, but Pommy Alex with the best start of everyone, up 4 places, all the way back from P5. What a great show from the Australians thus far.
Great stuff from Pommy. A lot of places changing, but Lawrence into the pits for a new front wing, and yeah, he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he certainly does, but I'm sure we might see at least one safety car here this evening as JBS Steve and Tier continue their battle as they make their way through the S section. That Williams is all over the back of the Ferrari, and he's got an Alpine of Muhiti for company as he tries to go around the outside, getting on the grass. No way through for the Turkish driver at the moment. Racing is on here in Japan, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, you've got to be careful at Degner too. Muhiti getting a bit too much on that outside curb, nearly sending his car around, but managing to hold it. But yeah, just a bit caught out by the mistake that Tier made at Dunlop.
Yeah, certainly. I do apologise for the timing errors at the moment. These aren't the actual gaps for the time being. But it looks like Daphne Hillius has pulled out a decent lead at the moment. He'll have Pommy Alex chasing him down as best as possible. But fairly clean for Nihilius, and he did well to see Lawrence off at the start.
He did indeed, and yeah, now he's got a gap to build to try and get a comfortable lead in this race. He started on the hard tyres as well, so if he can build a gap to Pommy, he is laughing. As now LB is putting Femi under pressure, who has not had the best start to this race after an extremely impressive qualifying.
Yeah, certainly so, but he's gonna have LB on a similar tyre compound, so it should be a bit easier for him to keep that Mercedes behind him. It's a 2-second gap that Daphne Hillius has pulled out on Pommy Alex thus far. That's a great start for the Haas driver. With Femi falling outside of the Alpine's DRS just about. He's going to have to try and claw some of that gap back if he wants to have a little bit of extra pace while defending off the Mercedes of LB. There's a big fight erupting here for P3 now. I think Femi might have made a little mistake. Or no, not a mistake. Pommy might have made a little mistake. Or Femi is caught up because he's right on the back of the Australian now. It's a big battle for P2. We've got about 4 cars in the mix. JBS Steve might get involved, which might invite Tier into the fray as well. Life back in the flashback.
Yeah, I think Pommy did exactly what I said about the last lap at Degner 2, just getting on that outside curb. It's very easy to end up in the wall when you do that, so he did well not to do that, but still lost about half a second.
Yeah, he certainly did. And Krauser now falling out of this as well, leaving the three fighting their way for the podium to it. But I'm sure the Ferraris can get through. They're actually doing pretty well thus far at the beginning of this race, and they'll be looking to make some more progress. But one Ferrari that's in trouble is JBS Steve. He's got Tier for company, and he's going to go to the inside as they go through turn 1. They're going to go side by side. That's a great move from Tier, and he gets his way past the Ferrari once more.
These two loving this at the moment, but look what it's doing. It's inviting Muhiti close to them on those hard tyres, and Mr. J-Man, don't forget about him, he's only 1 point off the championship lead, and with Lawrence spun, he could take it
Oh,
today.
that Sox round at the S's, a shame for the other Haas car.
Indeed. Well, it'll be a free place for Lawrence, perhaps, but yeah, not ideal for Sox. I don't think he has the greatest time with this track.
No, he's certainly not having the greatest time. But look at this fight in the midfield. It's all aboard the Krauser train as Tier, JP, Muhiti, J-Man, and Little Manny Man are all sitting incredibly close to one another. So quite the battle in these 4 laps emerging at the moment. This is great stuff. And then we've got to fight for the 2 podium positions as well, and it looks like LB's on the attack once again. They're heading down towards 130R now, and the DRS could come into play here as they head down towards turn 1. Pommy Alex has got some defending to do. We've got another yellow flag. That Sox spun round at the hairpin. He's still in the race, however, and still going.
Here comes Femi on Pommy. I think this move is going to be done for P2.
Yeah, here he goes. Up the inside goes the Alfa Romeo. Can LB get close enough? No, he can't. But ahead before the corner is the Alfa Romeo. Back into P2 is Femi Frostmaster. Tier making moves on Krauser. He's gone all the way around the outside of the Ferrari, and he's up into P5. He's having a great time out there.
Yeah, 2 Ferraris dispatched by the Williams driver, and up to P5 he goes, but it's a long way to those other ones as Krauser very deep. I'm not sure what happened to him there. JB down the inside as a result, but that was very
on the grass once again, and he's surrounded a safety car.
Safety car, I think, is that for Muhiti's
I think
spin?
so.
Perhaps?
I think
Okay.
so.
Well, he's lucky to still be in the race. Lawrence will be very happy to see that. But Lawrence has got a decision to make. Can he get to the end on those hard tyres?
Yeah, Muhiti's very lucky to still be in. He's still got a front wing, but he took quite an impact on that rear wing, so it might be rear wing damage for the Alpine, which is going to feel like hell to drive.
Especially around here.
Yes, of all places.
Yeah, his miserable start to the season continues, which it confuses me. It really does. After he was just a couple of points away from the championship last season, beaten only by his teammate for a fantastic performance in the final race. But this season, it just hasn't happened for him at all. He hasn't been able to become one with the car, as it were, in the same way that he was last season, and it's sad to see, really.
Yeah, Pommy Alex, Tier, Krauser, and Little Manny Man all into the pits. 5-second penalty for Krauser for speeding in the pit lane as he crosses that pit line. Muhiti stays out. Hopefully he won't have too much damage on that Alpine. Lawrence is still too far back to really make any headway on those stopping onto the hard tyres. So an early stop. Can they make it to the end on those?
I think Lawrence might have spun because there's no
Ah,
reason he should be this far back. I wonder if he'll come in. No, he stays out, but yeah, he's at least he's going to be back up with the grid, but yeah, he could have made up some positions there, but I think must have been a mistake in there somewhere that we didn't see.
yeah, so all the medium runners then have decided to come in. Sox has retired from the session as well. I think that happened a little while ago. Shame
Okay.
for the Haas driver. But yeah, an early stop for those starting on the mediums. Lifebout says that they should make it to the end, but they'll be on life support.
Hmm. Yeah, he's not going to have a good time with those tyres at the end if he does try and make it all the way. He's going to be hoping for another safety car to come out near the end to negate that problem. But we shall see. I think this is going to be a very hectic restart, as there's a lot of drivers on fresh tyres, a lot of drivers on non-fresh tyres, and also JB in the mix on those mediums still.
Yes, I think the right call might have been to stay out. I think because you're going to extend your stints either way. I think it might have hurt JB the most, perhaps, but
Hmm.
it's not come out. It's come out early enough to warrant just staying out and keeping your position.
Yeah, those who started on hards, this was a bad safety car for them. If you start on hards, you want one in maybe the first couple of laps, if there's going to be one, or obviously halfway through, but sort of in the middle of those two places is a really bad time to have a safety car if you start on the hards, because you're stuck
Yes.
between a rock and a hard place. Haha.
Pun definitely intended there, it seems.
Yes.
But yes, JB could be an outlier here. He could make some solid moves at the moment as well. Now keep an eye on Pommy, Alex. I'll be interested to see where he comes in amongst. He could be in contention for the lead of the race, essentially. Um, with the place he is, he's the lead car of those who have stopped. So once everyone comes in, he will take the lead of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, if I can't commentate with the same excitement and energy as I usually do, then I'm going to make puns instead. Um, Sorry about that, everyone. But yeah, Pommy in a good position here. But I think Darth Nihilius still my favourite to win this race. He's going to have so much pace on those mediums in the second stint.
Yeah, he certainly is, and but you never know. Oh, Pommy Alex is spun. He's into the
Oh
wall.
no! Oh, and he's
Oh,
lost the
Pommy.
front
Oh, and he's
wing.
gone right into the other barrier as well. I think he might have damage on both wings. Now, what has happened? He's George
Dear, oh dear.
Russelled it.
He has indeed. Oh no. Disaster for the Australian. Now, I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he's done that already this season. Um, I don't feel like that's the first time he has crashed under a safety car this season. And the worst thing is, I think the safety car is going to be in this lap,
I
and he is
don't
going
think
to
it
be.
is. It's staying out, I think. I think it stayed
Is
out
it
for his
staying out?
crash, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, he's gotten away with it then. But no,
Oh,
it
no.
is in. It is
What?
in.
What the hell? That
But
was
very
so
late.
late.
Wow. So Pommy going to be right at the back there and a pit stop behind, but we're off.
And after Hillius is coming under immediate pressure. Femi Fussmaster's got a great restart. He's going to look to the outside, but he's not going to be close enough as they go in towards turn one. But who is close enough is JB. He's under attack from Mr. J-Man, who's got the inside line on the Ferrari. The outside becoming for the Red Bull as he makes his way through after a little bit of contact. JBS Steve might try and find a way back through, but J-Man is up into P4 at the moment. Pommy Alex has thrown this race away after a crash under safety car. He'll find himself right at the back of the grid, but the top three more or less as they were, although LB, well, with Darth Nihilius, that gap got down as they go along, but everybody getting away fairly cleanly at the moment.
That was a fantastic move
Oh,
from
there
Mr.
goes
J-Man.
Krauser, he's round
Oh
at Degler
no.
2.
Oh dear, his dismal season continues. And yeah, he's got a long way back into this race now as well. Lawrence up a position as a result.
Oh,
Albie's out!
LB's
Albie's
out!
out! How's he managed
Another
that?
safety car. He's crashed as on the way through 200R. I think it's 200R. Or is it 300? I can't remember. But
How on earth has he
oh,
managed to crash there?
I have no idea. Perhaps some contact or something. I didn't see the crash. LB will have to explain that to us. But we're under another safety car. Probably Alex will be happy about that. And those on the hards will be even more frustrated now. This is really going to shake up the strategy calls at the minute. There's so many spins today, Lifebout. Indeed. Sock
Pommy's
said
out.
Oh, Pommy's out now as well. He's crashed. He's crashed at Degner 1. Well, in between the two, actually. Oh, Pommy, Alex.
What
What
on
is
earth
going
has
on?
happened this last couple of laps?
I think he might have tried to go a bit too fast through Degner 1 and his car weren't going to let him. He'll have to explain what happened there, Pommy. We didn't see it.
Probably rear wing damage has something to blame. LB says, what the hell just happened? This game is so bad. Lost the rear on a straight line. Game's gotta go. So, as usual, bad workman blames his tools.
Certainly. So, and actually I was thinking about this before this safety car comes out. Once the top 5 come in, Ghost, Tier leads this race.
It does indeed.
He'll be happy to see this safety car out, actually. It means his tyres might go a little bit longer.
Yes, exactly, and also means fewer laps for him to spin.
Yes, certainly so. Let's have a look. Yeah, Sock says he had rear wing damage after he spun. He knew the race was over from there. That is a shame. Wing damage is horrible. Hashtag F1 fixed. I see what he's done there. Yeah, fixed, but it's F1 and an XED. Yeah. Yeah, that safety car came in super late, like literally last minute. Yeah, Michael Massey might be in the race control room again.
Yeah,
somebody might have to get security and get him out.
Well, it can't be Michael Massey because he's Australian. He would never do that to Pommy. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Bernie Eccleston managed to break in.
Maybe.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. Oh dear. Another safety car here in Japan. I mentioned we might have only one, but it looks like we're having two thus far. Well, we're definitely having two thus far, actually. Is it going to come in really late again? It's probably going round for one more lap. No other stoppers. Only JBS Steve came in. The only driver of the medium runners to not have pitted at the moment. It's Ferrari 910 at the minute. We've lost 3 drivers. Such a shame.
It is a shame, but you know, that's Japan. It's a cruel track. There's one mistake and your race is over. So you just gotta. Yeah, that's an interesting call. He's going on to a set of mediums. If they're going to the end, that isn't very ambitious.
Might be banking on another safety car. I wouldn't put it past him.
Perhaps, yeah.
Life Bat says LB tried wheel and forgot to turn. Oh dear.
LB says he was full throttle and the game just sent him to the left. It totally wasn't that he just turned his wheel. Nothing to do with that.
Oh.
It was the game. He was driving in a straight line and the game put him left.
The game materialised itself and made his wheel turn left. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Clear as day.
I do have a suspicion on what happened. I think he's turned too sharply into 200R.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me before, and I've also spun, or nearly spun, so I can definitely see that happening.
Yes, I can see that happening as well. I've done that as well. It's a scary one, that one.
Yeah.
Very easily done. But I think we'll be getting racing underway. Duff and Hilius will lead us off once again under this safety car. They're not going to be too happy about these safety cars, the top 5 on those hard tyres there. They're going to have to try and make do.
Tears spun.
Oh,
Tier
Tier! What are you doing?
is down to last place.
I'm going to stop commentating on Tier now. I'm just never showing him again on stream until he sorts it out. Because he's
I just said
just...
less.
Oh,
Safety car meant fewer laps for him to spin, but not if he spins under the safety car.
certainly did. Safety car is in, then Daphne Hilliers is going to lead us off once again. Yeah, definitely did curse him after singing his praises, Rick, but we're going racing. And not Lifebout's in the chat. Daphne Hilliers is going to get us going once more. Slows it right down, and he gets going just as they exit the chicane. At the moment, he's caught Femi off a little bit, and Mr. J-Man now, the master of restarts, it seems. He's on the attack already, looking for a way through. Lawrence gets past JBS Steve under this restart at the moment, but Mr. J-Man, we keep an eye on the Red Bull as he's making his way onto the podium. He wants to get toward the front of these guys who are yet to pit at the moment. Fido Man as well, he's having a great race in the other Williams car. He's all over the back of this Red Bull. He'll be looking to challenge as well as we make our way through the S section for the 11th time this evening.
Crozer nearly spins and just about saves the car getting on the curb, but it lets Lawrence through, and the championship leader already up to P7, and with his fellow championship leader right in front of him.
Yeah, this could be a great battle. This is a battle between rivals here, but the one, if things finished as they were, Mr. J-Man would be your championship leader. As things would change hands. And little Mayman losing the rear end, and that invites Lawrence through. Lawrence is somehow causing mistakes to the cars ahead, and little Mayman gets on the grass, a little lucky to still be continuing on in this race. And tears all over the back of JBS Steve. He's got to get past these Ferraris once again. He's done it once. I'm sure he can do it again as they make their way through the spoon curve. Little Mannyman, though, he'll be fuming about that. He wouldn't have wanted to let Lawrence through that easily.
Yeah, so another free position for the championship leader, and he continues to chase after everyone with those medium tyres.
Here comes Tier, he's going to go around the outside into Casio Triangle, and he gets the inside for the next part of the corner. A great move from the Williams. He was close enough coming out of 130R, and he's going to propel himself towards little Mannyman now, using that ERS to break away from the Ferrari. Mannyman is out of DRS at the minute, but no DRS on this lap until the next one.
Indeed, and Tier going wide though at turn 1, easy to do, doesn't quite let JB through, luckily for him, but his recovery will now continue. He's up to P9.
Yes, certainly. So, Lawson, just say I've still won every race I've finished this season. Yes.
Yeah, but when Max Verstappen said that, his DNFs were that he had mechanical failures. Yours have been that you've crashed.
Oh dear.
Tier on the move against little Mannyman, nearly into the hairpin.
Oh, he's so close to the back of him. It's so tempting to make a move into there, but you've got to be so brave, using as much ERS as he dares, coming through 200R now as they come down and then back up towards Spoon Curve. That Williams has some pace under it for sure, but he's really got to put in some work to get back ahead. But he'll still be in a decent place when the drivers ahead of him do come in.
He certainly will. As Tier again having a look at Lil Mannyman, but not able to get past, and every lap that he spends behind him, he's going to lose time to all those cars that have still got a pit, and he doesn't send it into the chicane. I thought he might do, but
yeah, I thought so too. He looks so close to the back of that Red Bull.
Fastest lap from Lawrence, and he's right on the back of Muhiti. I think that move is going to be done as soon as Muhiti makes any kind of error. Lawrence is going to be there.
Yeah, he's already sniffing around. He's looking for a way past that pink and blue Alpine. He's not quite close enough. Well, he's not quite got the ground to do it through this S section. But I'm sure championship leader can make his way past and try, and he'll want to catch up to J-Man if he can. That's his rival. Tier has had an incident again as they've gone through Dunlop. That's invited JBS Steve down, and now he finds himself even further back than he was before. That is a shame for the Williams driver. He had some pace going forward.
He did. He's got pace, but he just hasn't got the consistency on this track, and it's really costing him perhaps a shot at the race win in the end when all was said and done. But now back at the back again, 2.3 off.
Let's just have a reminder of the stops. It's the top 5 who haven't stopped yet. Everybody else has made a stop in this race. Lawrence on a recovery drive after a spin on the first lap, but we continue to look through. I think the hard runners will go until about lap 18, I think.
Lawrence.
But here's
He's gonna
Lawrence.
go for it in the chicane.
Oh, tight margins there. Muhiti really defensive, and that was just about okay for Muhiti to do.
Yeah, Lawrence gambled that Muhiti would leave the inside open, and the Turkish driver said absolutely not. So Lawrence had to back out of that one, and he has to stay behind. But no, Muhiti spun. He's gotten on the curb. He did what I did in Elite. On that curb on the outside of turn 1, and he is round down to P7 now, perhaps P8. Here comes little Manny Man, but the Red Bull has to back out.
Gosh.
Free position for Lawrence.
Femi Frostmaster meanwhile is making some pace. He's putting some pressure onto Daphne Hilliard now. These two at the lead provisionally, but they'll fall back behind those who have stopped, but they'll be on. Muhiti's made another spin. Oh, Fido really defended the inside line. Lawrence trying to fake a way through. Can't get past that Williams, but they're going to go side by side on the exit, and Lawrence going to go round the outside of 200R, and he's going to make the move stick as the Mercedes. He's up into P4. He's got Mr. J-Man, his other championship rival, in his sights now.
This is great stuff from Lawrence, and Tito's got on the curb at Spoon, and he's round. And a lot of spins happening today in Japan. Muhiti spun again as well in Sector 1 earlier this lap. So Tito all the way down to P8. All that good work undone. He's going to be frustrated with that, and he's still got to pit.
Yes, Ferrari of JBS Steve all over the back of Little Manny Man at the moment, but he's not quite close enough to make a move into Casio Triangle, so he'll have to try with the DRS on this next lap as they start lap 15 for themselves, opening up the DRS, using that ERS to full effect, closing, down the inside goes the Ferrari. No defensive action from the Red Bull, but he wasn't close enough anyway for it to happen. I think JBS Steve was sort of scared to brake a little bit early.
Yeah, indeed, and Femi Thrustmaster smells blood as well on the car in the lead of this race. He saw the red flashing light on the back of that Haas coming down the main straight, and he knows now that Darth is vulnerable.
He certainly does lots of battles up and down the grid. Lawrence says, Lifebout says Lawrence could get those tyres to the end. It's hard, but possible. Might get a puncture though.
Yeah, they'll be on well over 70 by the end if he does try and go all the way. I mean, he's got to think about risking it, because otherwise he's just going to have to pit, and he's going to have no chance of winning this race. He's going to be well down out of the top 4 even. So yeah, it's all up to Lawrence what he does here. Medium tyres have helped him out to get as far up as he now is, but is he going to end up having to pit again before the end?
Yeah, that'll be the question. If he doesn't, he's got quite the gap to those who have pitted at the moment. Darth is in now, so he's felt the pressure from Femi Thrustmaster, and he's decided to let him go. Mr. J-Man is now going to put the pressure on the Alfa Romeo. He's got Lawrence just behind him as well. Where will Daphne Hilliard come out? He's going to come out just behind Fido Man in the Williams there. Oh, not just behind him, but he'll have clear air at least.
Yes, that's crucial. He'll be able to try and get an undercut here, but it will be tricky with those cold tyres, and I think he's going to have to rely on Femi when the Alfa Romeo comes in, having trouble in Sector 1 and being able to pass him before his tyres can get up to temperature. It's not going to be easy.
Yes, certainly. So we'll have to keep an eye on that once Femi does come in. A little bit of a mistake from Lawrence there as he tries to chase down Mr. J-Man. Mr. J-Man desperately trying to get into that 1 second gap to get some DRS, and he's just got in there, it seems, as they come through the spoon curve now. They're on the same tyres, are Femi and J-Man, with Lawrence on those fresher mediums. He's really putting on some pressure now, and he's in a decent shot for this race win.
He certainly is, and 90% ERS, but he's going to lose out on DRS here. Mr. J-Man has caught him by surprise by how much speed he had on that straight, and Lawrence, no DRS on that Mercedes as Femi comes in now to respond to the undercut, but Mr. J-Man stays out and leads the race with the fastest lap, no less.
Wow, Mr. J-Man then staying out and setting the fastest lap on this last lap. I'm watching Femi as he's coming in the pits. Here's Darth Nihilius. He's making his way through Casio Triangle now. So we'll keep an eye on this Haas as it makes its way down the pit straight. I think Femi is moving once more in the pit lane. Keep an eye on the right-hand side of your screen. Now the left, back to the right once more. Here comes the Haas. Where is he going to come out? I think he's just behind the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he is, but Femi's going to have cold tyres in Sector 1, and Darth is going to be right there if there's a mistake from the Alfa Romeo. As they come through the S's, Femi just about keeping it on the track and doing well to get those tyres up to temperature. And the good thing about the S's is it does get those tyres up to temperature pretty quick, as Tia and Lil Manny Man are side by side. Through Degna's incredible stuff. Tia ahead.
JB going round the outside of LB, Little Manny Man as well, making an opportunistic move through Degna too, and Fido Man's going to look to the inside of the. Oh, there's a bit of contact, but not enough to knock the Williams off course. But a lot of going on in just a few small corners, but an opportunistic move from JB Steve, and that must be said.
Yeah, that was great. Side by side through Degna 2 usually ends in tears, so well done to all three of them there. But Darth Nihilus right behind Femi, but that ERS is running low on the Haas. He's down below 10%, so he's going to have a reduction in power compared to the Cameroonian driver. And Darth is going to have to really start saving that ERS, or he's going to have no chance of winning this race.
Yeah, ERS management is incredibly important, especially at a track like here. It's not as easy to overtake as it looks, especially with only one DRS straight around here. And then it's not as long as you might think it is. But chasing and chasing is the Haas. He's got the assistance of the DRS. He's going to look to the outside, but Femi's going to stick to that inside line and keep defending the Haas driver. I think he knows he's got the battery advantage over Darth Nihilus, so these two are going to continue their campaign. Meanwhile, Fido is on the attack. He's all over the Williams of Little Manny Man at the moment, running a decent race in Williams, much better than his qualifying. He started P12, he's up into P7 for the time being. Muhiti setting the fastest lap of the race, but he is all on his own in no man's land in P10, so he's got nothing but clear air.
Yeah, desperately hoping for a safety car will Muhiti be, but if he can secure fastest lap, it will at least be an extra point for him. Tito Man trying to find a way past Lil Manny, and Lawrence as well must be getting frustrated behind this Red Bull now. It's costing him time to stick behind. He's got a 10-second gap nearly to Crozo though, and surely J-Man is in this lap. He can't, unless he's going hard soft. No, there he goes.
Unleashes the Mercedes then. 5-second penalty for J-Man. That's really going to hinder him. Not what he wanted as he went into the pit lane. He's probably going to come out amongst this battle actually along the JBS Steve train as they're making their way through now. So it could be quite an interesting place for the Red Bull to make a re-emergence onto the track as the Femi Thrustmaster now sets the fastest lap. Yeah, he's going to come right on the back of this fight for P4 now.
Yeah, it's very close, and Tito Man round the outside of Lil Manny Man through the first S, and he's made it work. Brilliant stuff.
Oh, and there goes Femi as well. What a move for that next part. Darth making a way through as well. Little Manny Man getting robbed in the space of 3 corners by the medium runners. That hard strategy not particularly working. Will he let his teammate through, I wonder, but that was some incredible racing.
Oh my gosh, at Degna 1, he's made it work. Tito backed out, thankfully, as Darth now down the inside of Degna 2 in the compactor. I think Darth has got himself to blame for that one. Too impatient, trying to go down the inside of Degna 2. Tito left as much room as he could, but yeah, unfortunately, he is now well out of the running for the win unless a safety car comes to his rescue.
Yeah, I think Darth Nihilus got a bit too ambitious there. He saw what Femi Thrustmaster did in front of him and thought, I'll have a bit of that as well, and not the right place to do it, unfortunately, for the Haas driver, and he's going to find himself in P9 all on his own.
Certainly is. Tito still has to pit, by the way. He's been on those hards for 18 laps. It's gonna be. Oh no, hang on. He pitted. He must have pitted lap 1 because he's coming on to lap 20.
Staying out. Let's see. I think he has pitted. He did pit.
No,
No,
okay,
he
no.
hasn't.
He hasn't pitted. He hasn't pitted. As the two Red Bulls swap now, Mr. J-Man going for the move on Tito Man down the inside into turn 1. That really would have been ambitious, and I think would have ended in tears. So thankfully he didn't. But he's going to be really raring to get past this Williams as soon as he can, because he's seen that Femi has already extended a 3-second gap.
Yeah, certainly so. Those hards must be screaming on that Williams. He's yet to come in, but he might be trying a hard soft here, actually, the Williams,
Yeah.
which could be quite an ambitious one. But round the outside, so many moves on the outside in the deckers. Oh, J-Man's so lucky to keep that car. You could see how shaky that rear end was. What a move.
Wow, I cannot believe he is still in this race, and that Tito is still in this race as well.
The bravery.
Yeah.
Ritti has spun at the S section once again. Alpine's woes continue at the beginning of this Tier 2 season.
Yeah, indeed. And Crozer, after that spin earlier on, is now running P2, and very comfortably so. Meanwhile, Femi on his teammate on the outside on the run to 130R. I think JB is going to back out of that one. He does indeed. And he's got Mr. J-Man chasing him down now. 2.2 seconds is the gap.
Not quite, Ghost. That Alfa Romeo looks a lot less like last year's Ferrari. That's a Ferrari he's just passed there. Before P4, as Femi Frostmaster gets himself up there, he'll have Tier in his sights next. I think he'll be looking for P2 at Femi Frostmaster unless Lawrence pits.
Tito finally into the pits, I assume for soft. No, it's for mediums, so I do not know what on earth he was thinking staying out for that long. But regardless, Darth Nihilius, free position for him and setting the fastest lap. So that will give him an extra point. But it takes it off Muhiti, who's going to be annoyed to see that flash up on the screen.
Yes, indeed. And I think Tito might have been hoping for a safety car, perhaps. So he could pit for free, more or less, but no chance for the Williams at this time. But there's still 7 laps to go. It's always confusing because you count the lap that you're on as well, and then the rest of the laps left. But anyway, Femi Frostmaster doing a good job, and he's closing slowly on Tier. Is going to start to struggle on those hard tyres, I think.
Mr. J-Man wants to dispatch JB as soon as he can. 2 seconds, sorry, 4 tenths is the gap, 3 tenths, and then another 2 seconds to Femi. He's going for it straight away. Oh my gosh, he's gone for it into the final chicane. JB left room, but Mr. J-Man on the grass, so he couldn't get the braking performance that he wanted. But surely this move is going to be done before turn 1 now for the Red Bull. As he continues to chase after as many positions as he can get for this championship bid of his.
Yeah, that was cut and dry, that move for the Red Bull there, and would have been a very audacious end into that chicane there, but decided against it, especially after getting on the grass. But another place for Mr. J-Man, who is making up for a poor qualifying performance. He'll have his work cut out to catch up to Femi, who is starting to fall off a little bit, I think. He's not got a lot of ERS. Tier's got about double the amount of ERS that Femi Frostmaster has at the moment, and is currently doing well. We'll try not to say too much about that. Krause is in no man's land, meanwhile. He's trying to manage that gap, though. Currently, he'll finish P3 because of that 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, Mr. J-Man as well has got to manage that gap, because currently he would finish P8. So he really needs to find some time now on those medium tyres, push them to the limit, as it were. So he's got a lot of work to do. He's going to be very much regretting getting that needless penalty, as might Crozer if he loses the place to Tier at the end.
I'm very interested to see I'd love to be able to see the tyre wear on that Mercedes at the front there.
Yes, I would too. That information is upstairs currently.
Yes. Because he must be really feeling it
Oh
now, I
no, Mr.
think.
J-Man!
Oh,
Oh, he's done it. He's gone round the too far on the outside of turn one, gotten all over that curb, and he spun himself round, and that is some valuable points gone, as his teammate does exactly the same thing just behind him.
oh, Red Bull. This is. Remember that question at the beginning, Ghost? Can Red Bull be beaten? I think they can. Especially if this is what their season looks like going ahead. They'll want to probably forget about this race after tonight.
Well, you say that, but as it stands, they're still extending their
Yeah,
lead by quite a significant margin,
true.
because Alpine only have Muhiti left, and he's 10th. Mercedes only have Lawrence. Yes, he's winning, but together the Red Bulls still have 2 more points than him.
Yeah, very true. And they have been finishing races, these Red Bulls, as well. We said that we commented on the driver pairing of LB and Lawrence, but LB has only finished one race this season thus far.
Oh, down the inside of 130R. He makes it work. JB leaves him room. And Darth now up to P5, recovering from earlier. But 6 second gap to Femi. I think P5 is where he's going to stay. As now Femi going for the move on Tier. Down the inside he goes on the Williams and the Alfa Romeo onto the podium again. But Tier still on for P3 because of that 5 second penalty on the Ferrari. If Crozer loses out on a podium because of that, he is going to be kicking himself.
Yeah, he certainly will, but this is Tier we're talking about. The man does have a track record for throwing away good results, but we won't comment on it any more than is necessary. Fastest Sector 1 for Femi Fussmaster.
Yeah, he is really pushing hard. You can tell by the lack of ERS in that battery. He's currently, the best he can do is P2. Lawrence is just far too far ahead. Unless he gets a puncture, it could still happen, so we've got to watch out for if that gap suddenly starts tumbling down.
Yeah, it's tumbling down, that gap. At the time being, I mean, closest battle on track at the minute is the battle between Tier and Femi Fussmaster. For the time being, Tier trying to catch back up, but I don't think he's going to have it in the tyres to really mount a campaign. It'll be Femi who's going to try and catch up to Krauser. I mean, he doesn't have to pass him, he's just got to stay within that 5 seconds. So does Tier. Interested to see what their gap is. It's about 3 seconds or so between, or almost 3 seconds between Tier and Krauser.
Yep, he's doing enough at the moment. Crozer really struggling now on those 19 lap old hards, certainly more so than Tier is on the same tyre. And I think Crozer is unfortunately going to miss out on the podium here by virtue of that pit lane speeding penalty, which I must remind you he got under a safety car, so he is going to be furious.
Yeah, he certainly will. Getting penalties under safety car is the worst. 3 second time penalty, as we talk about time penalties, from Muhiti, who's down in P10. Lawrence isn't too far from lapping the Alpine. One more spin and he probably will be lapped. I think we'll be safe from a safety car appearance now, so we can enjoy what is left of this race as it kind of dies down a little bit to the end. But we watch as Femi Fussmaster chases after Krauser in that Ferrari.
I don't think Muhiti is going to care too much about that penalty at this point. He just wants the fastest lap to get that extra point on the board for him and his team. Femi, obviously, as it stands, he finishes second anyway, but he's not going to take any chances because if he ends up getting a 5 second penalty from the stewards for something we haven't seen, he is going to be he's going to end up back off the podium again. So
I'm
Still all to play
noticing
for.
something here, Ghost. Look at that gap between Lawrence and Krauser. It's coming down.
Oh, it is. It is. There's no puncture. There's no puncture on the Mercedes. But I will stay on board with Lawrence for the rest of the race, and let you know if anything happens.
Yes, that would be very helpful. I'm just looking at that gap. It's coming down. So Femi will want to try and dispatch as best he can. I don't think Femi will be able to catch. That'll be a Herculean effort to close down almost 8 seconds in 1.5 laps. But if a puncture does come on that Mercedes on those very worn medium tyres, then we could have a Silverstone situation on our hands.
We could. Oh, wouldn't that be cool if Lawrence won the race on 3 wheels? But I think if he did get a puncture, even this late in the race, he would drop like a stone down the order, and he would probably spin because with this game's physics, when you get a puncture, it more often than not just spins you out straight away, which is pretty realistic, really, unless it's a slow puncture. But this game doesn't really do slow punctures.
No, here comes Femi, then he's setting up the move on that Ferrari. I think he's going to get close enough. Down the inside he goes. Kraus is going to leave him the room. He's no point fighting that for the Ferrari. And up into the P2 on track is Femi Thrustmaster. And he has a chance to catch Lawrence, especially if any mistakes creep in. But this is the final lap now. Alfa Romeo, that gap is... Look how quick it's coming down, Ghost.
Yeah, Lawrence is really struggling. I've been riding on board with him. He is really just taking it as easy as possible, trying his best not to lose those tyres, but is it going to cost him 5 seconds is the gap? Half a lap to go for Lawrence. He's going to be praying that the finish line is around the next corner, but he's still got some more to go. No, there's the puncture! It's happened! It happened! Oh my gosh! It must be a rear right puncture on the last lap for Lawrence, and he's going to end up well off the podium, and the championship is back alive. Femi is going to win this race unless anything else happens, and Lawrence is going to be gutted. It's right at the end, and funnily enough, Sumo, I remember this exact thing happening to me in a career mode at the same track. So,
oh my
painful memories, and it's the same part of the track as well.
Oh no, so unlucky, but Femi, that gap was coming down. He didn't know the puncture was coming, but he has driven quite the race to get himself on the top step of the podium. Femi crosses the line in P1. Krauser is going to get that podium after all. Tier has a puncture as well. After Hilliers finds himself back on the podium after quite the eventful race for the Haas drivers. And Tier off the podium now. JBS Steve finishes at P5. Lawrence P6 with that puncture. He finishes ahead of both of his rivals, so that'll be good for the drivers. J-Man gets that fastest lap of the race. Little Manny Man is going to come up in P8, is he? He's got Fido Man, he's got a penalty anyway. Does the Williams crossing the line? They do both go. It's Fido Man and Little Manny Man. Muhiti will be the last driver to cross the line, but absolute drama in the dying stages of this race.
I can't believe what we've just
seen.
Look
at the gap between P2 and 3, 500ths of a second.
Yeah, wow. And Tier getting that puncture at the last corner. It was the last corner. And losing the podium. Oh, disaster. He's going to be gutted. But there we go. What a race in the end. Femi Thrustmaster takes the win. And I'm just going to check up on some stats real quick. Femi Thrustmaster, he's had podiums before, I know that much. Femi... there. Femi Thrustmaster takes his first ever APPF1 win.
Wow. We love to have firsts here, and I think that's the second first in 2 races, so we love to see it here in APPF1, and rightly deserved is this win. We go over to the podium ceremony now. And we are moving over to the thingy chat, Ghost, I'm assuming so. Yes, let's do that as we get ready for some interviews. But Femi Thrustmaster, top step of the podium. Let's start a party, close party, blah, 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 blah. APPF1 Tier 2. Had half a lap to go. I know, so unlucky. But there he is, Femi, celebrating that first win. That must feel incredible here in Tier 2. We love to see drivers winning for the first time here, and it's quite the sight. We'll run you through our race order then as Femi Thrustmaster claims the top step of the podium, with Krauser getting on the podium despite that 5-second time penalty and just keeping hold of P2 by 0.05 of a second, almost 6 in fact, as Daphne Hillius rounds off the top 3 tier. Calamity for the British driver as he gets a puncture on the final corner of the track, with JBS Steve rounding off the top 5. Lawrence comes home in P6 with the Red Bull pair of J-Man and Little Manny Man in 7 and 8. Fido Man is P9, with Muhiti rounding off the top 10 and all of the finishers, with LB, Pommy Alex and Sox not finishing this race.
Yeah, I was muted, sorry. Podium scores only, I'm afraid, as well. We'll head to Femi Thrustmaster first, of course, the race winner, and Sumo. I'll let you lead.
Femi, that was a hard-fought race for you, I think. There was a few moments where you looked like you might not get in the lead with those safety cars really mixing everything up, but you drove quite the storm toward the end of that race. And how was that?
Thank you. I'm knackered, quite frankly. Yeah, that was fun. Me and Darth were quite comfortable at the front, and that safety car did kind of bugger us up a little bit. So I didn't really know what I was racing for, if that makes sense. I was just kind of tyres are quicker. I don't know who's ahead of me, who pitted earlier. I don't know what that means for the whole, how it's all going to go down, really. So I really wasn't expecting to win. So when I saw the Mercedes in front of me, just that little light blue dot stopped going forward. I let out a little yelp of excitement. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all. I'm delighted.
Yeah, first time on the top step of the podium. That must be an elating feeling to have. Well done. And even if it has come under extremely lucky circumstances,
I'll
but
take it.
yeah,
I'm not fussed.
I mean, it doesn't matter where you start; it's where you finish these races, and maximum, well, not quite maximum points, but the top step must feel great.
Really, yeah. I mean, I've been in this league for a few seasons now, and I'm used to being mid-table sort of area. So I don't know how I pulled out this speed for the last few races, but obviously it's lovely to win. I'm not gonna complain. Someone hands it to me. I mean, obviously it helps with LB going out, Pommy Alex going out, but if that's what it takes to get me to win, I'll absolutely take it. They can do it every single week, quite frankly.
Well, certainly so. And some quick maths means that I think Lawrence finished. Where was it? Did he finish sixth in the end, Sumo? I
Yes,
think.
just ahead of the Red Bulls.
Right. So that's a 9-point gain. So you'll be only 10 points behind the championship lead, Femi. Are you starting to believe again after you had to miss a race?
No, clearly, no. If I aim for nothing and then I win, it's even more exciting, isn't it? So let's take top 10, and I'll be happy with that.
Wow, a great performance out on track, and it was definitely one to watch. I enjoyed watching that gap come down in those final moments. And a great drive, Femi. Well done.
Thank you very much.
We move on. Who was our P2 sitter? It was Krauser, the man who finds himself on the podium by 600ths of a second. There was a point in that race where you surely thought that podium wasn't on.
I didn't think it was on at all. Even at the end there, it was. I don't think coming into the last chicane, I don't think I was within the 5 seconds to kind of be on the podium at all. And then something, I don't know what happened behind me, but I crossed the line, looked at it, and then just saw that I was P2. So I was probably just as surprised as everyone.
Yeah, I mean, Tyr getting a puncture in the last moments, that really helped you out there because it definitely looked like you weren't on for that podium. But it was, I'd say it was a tough race for yourself and your teammate there. You were battling away with both the Williams actually and those Red Bulls as well. But finishing up on the podium, that's not a mean feat.
Yeah, I think this season I've not been on pace at all. I haven't had a lot of time to put any practice in. This is the first time I've been on since the last race, so that's what it's been like every week, really. So I'm like, who was it, Femi that finished first?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, if you aim for nothing and then get something, that's what I'm doing at the minute. It's just nice to get online and be able to have some good racing. And like you said, when other people crash out and it gives you an opportunity to get some decent points, then you'll take it.
I just want to give you all some news from the chat. Lawrence has just posted his tyres. So obviously his rear right 100% because of the puncture. Front left 91, front right 91, rear left 90. So
My
wow.
word.
No wonder the puncture came, but it's just a very unlucky time.
Oh, wow. Uh, But yeah, that was a decent drive there for you, Grouse. I mean, you've got a long way yet to go to try and catch up to those Red Bulls in the championship, and there being a couple less of your rivals ahead of you will be a good stead in the constructors, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just this season. I think it's just take whatever we can. Me and JB haven't had the best of luck in the first few races. We've had a few DNFs, and I think as we go through this season, and if there's another season on this game, we'll aim for a bit higher when that season comes around. But I think this season's just about picking up points, getting used to racing with each other, and then going from there. Really.
Yeah, that sounds very good, and I'm sure that the rest of the season will hold some decent races for you. Good job today.
Cheers, thanks.
Darth, wow. So from pole to the podium, and there was a moment there where it wasn't looking like a podium for yourself as well. You spun in the late stages of the race. How was that?
Oh, it was real tough because we were navigating traffic, Femi and myself. I was just like trying to stay as close to him behind. We found, I think it's Thidoman, like in the second Degner, sent it, and it seemed like the game decided like it was a spinner or not. I don't know. I need to look it back again with a cold mind, but very frustrating because I could have been with Femi at least, be with him, if not not pass him. But yeah, really frustrating. After that spin, it was just going, keeping going, pushing till the end. And fortunately, at the end, someone in front of me like missed the chicane completely, and I got locked into third place, and almost got Crossa because there was a quick rejoin like at the end, so that's why I lost second place. But nothing I can ask tomorrow. I need to look it with a cool mind later.
Yeah, I mean, from the off-board footage that we just about caught on the commentary stream, it looked as if you got a little bit too. You saw what Femi was doing ahead of you, and you wanted a slice of that action. And I think it was an audacious send to go into Degna 2 along the inside, but I think you paid a price for it, but ended up in a decent position in the end.
Yes, it is. Like I cannot complain really. It's really hard not to get heated up at the moment. The hardest part is to keep the cool and like focus, like in Spa. Doesn't matter what happens, you need to keep focusing. But yeah, to be honest, I don't regret it. I had to send it there. I think Zero could have literally give more space, looking at the fact that we were both fighting. But yeah, like it was. If I didn't went there, like it would have been really hard to catch Femi afterwards.
Yeah, well, well done anyway. On coming back to the podium, a good comeback drive is always satisfying, even when it doesn't quite go to plan at some point. So, well done to you on another podium, and yeah, I'm glad you managed to recover.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we'll see. I'm happy with the pole at least. It slipped away in Spa. Now we got it and a podium. Well, what else can I ask?
Yeah, certainly. So it's always good to get a pole position, uh, especially when that does result in a decent finish in the race. But a good job today. You really put on a decent show for us all.
Thank you, guys.
All right, I think that for interviewing the podium sitters. I hope all of my things have recorded correctly. Hopefully, I'll have to check that later on. But is there anything else to add from you, Ghost?
Nope, not from me. Other than we've got to choose driver of the day.
We do have to choose driver of the day. You're correct. Let's have a look then. If we go back to the race results, gosh, let's have a look. I mean, Philo Man had a decent drive. I think his strategy though let him down. The Red Bulls, I think they did as they were expected to do, but let themselves down. I think. I'm not sure.
Well, personally, for me, mate, I think I would give it to Femi. It was a class drive, and then obviously getting lucky at the end with the Lawrence puncture, but and driver of the day could easily have gone to Lawrence as well, but I think Femi deserves it today. His first ever win as well in APP.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he drove a very strong race. He put the pressure on and drove quickly when he needed to, which is everything you need to do. And yes, it was a puncture, unfortunately for Lawrence. But like I said, it's not. It's where you finish that matters. And he was in the right place to capitalise on a risk that Lawrence took. And yeah, Femi, I think he's the driver of the day.
Unless you want to give driver of the day to punctured tyres, because they came into play.
Yeah, that's also a decent shout. But yeah, Femi Fussfuss, the driver of the day.
Yeah, well, I think that'll be it then for us from tonight.
Yes, it shall indeed. Let me have a look at the calendar for where we are heading off to next time. We are going to the ups and downs of Portugal in Portimao for round 5 of the championship on Valentine's Day. So I hope you've not got anything planned on that day. I don't know why you would, but yes. We'll be joining you once again for some more Tier 2 action, and hopefully COVID will have left Ghost alone at this point, and I'm hoping we'll be in for just as much excitement as this championship heats up once again.
Absolutely. I hope so too.
Yeah. Well, then that's going to do us for this evening. I have been Sumo.
I have been Ghost.
And we will see you next week at the same time for some more Tier 2 as we go on to round 5. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.